Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. I have a live audience of one today, sibling.
Hello.
There you go. I'd show you, but she's in her pajamas. So anyways, we're visiting my dad today, just chilling, having fun, doing the things. Welcome back to Self-Love December, day number 14. Don't compare. Don't compare. Do not compare. This is also things to think on Thursday. So I pulled some mindful messages because I thought they would be really good to go with today. But I guess one of the things I want to think about is a lot of times the first thing we tend to do is look at somebody else's life and gosh, why don't I have that? Why can't I have that? I wish my life was as easy as theirs. We don't know what goes on behind people's closed doors. So try not to judge too much, okay? I mean, I saw a post yesterday from baby sibling that, just because they're smiling doesn't mean that everything's great, all right? Although sometimes when you can see it in their eyes. And I'm being honest, if you know how to spot anxiety or depression or any kind of other mental umbrella spoke, you can see it in their eyes most of the time. However, a lot of times we think, oh, well, they have great lives and I want that life, and we tend to compare. Again, don't compare. What someone else is doing, let them do their thing. What you should be focusing on is your stuff. Just focus on your stuff, okay? The only person you should be the only person you should be trying to be, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't even read my own writing. The only person you should be trying to beat is the person you were yesterday. All right? And even then, if you had a great day, don't try to beat that person. Try to build on it, right? I mean, how often do we sit there and say, well, again, I want what they have, and if I don't have what they have, then I'm going to make sure I get it. Well, a lot of bad things can come out of that, right? A lot of bad things can come out of that. And one of the reasons I like this as being the self-care part or the self-love part of December is that when we stop worrying about what other people are doing and we start focusing on what we're doing, you're going to probably find a path that you may never thought you would have been on, right? I have a friend that just graduated from college the other day, and, we were talking about it earlier, and she's like, well, I wish I would have done it sooner, but then maybe I would have appreciated it as much when I was this age versus that age, or, that age versus this age, and you never know. But sometimes when we're a little bit more grown up and have a little bit more experience under our belt, we tend to see, not just the education that we're getting, but the value in what we're getting. It's not just, oh, well, I have to do this because by the time I'm 25, I want this, that, and the other because nobody else in my family has ever had it. Don't compare yourself to what other people are doing. Don't worry about how many of your people have never done this or that. All right? I'll admit, I've never been to college. I've always thought about it. Sometimes the thought gets away from me, but never once have I sat in a graduation ceremony, whether it was live or online or even in a smaller setting, and been jealous of somebody else. Take pride in other people's accomplishments. They worked hard for those things. Older sibling went through an accelerated course to become an HR specialist. And when I say accelerated, I mean accelerated. I think she was out in like less than 2 years. It was insane. But not once was I ever jealous, and we tend to have this thing about us that says, well, they're so lucky or this and that. No, they put the hard work in. Okay. And that's the part we don't see. What we see is the end result, but they put the hard work in. They put the dedication and the time in, even if they did it for somebody else, to give them that pride, that sense of pride. But also if, like she was doing it for her dad, and for anybody that's new that's watching, older sibling is my best friend, and we're both only children, so we kind of adopted each other. But we're definitely beyond best friends and more like sisters. So it was fun to watch it. It was fun to see how proud her dad was of her. Her mom had already passed, but it was proud to see how her dad and her stepmom were proud of her for accomplishing something in such a short amount of time. It was crazy. So good morning, Eileen. But I think it's very important that we focus on not comparing ourselves to other people. I think one of the other reasons it's best to not compare ourselves to other people is because everybody's built differently. Everybody's lives are managed differently. Everybody's lives turn out differently. And when we start comparing ourselves to other people and, again, wishing, well, I wish I had that life. Like I said, their life may not be any easier than yours. They may handle it better. They may, hide it better. They may just believe that everything is going to be okay better than some of us can believe that. And I think the biggest lesson out of all of that is when you compare, you're spending so much time focusing on somebody else's life that you're not focusing on your own. So don't compare your lives. Don't compare, period. Okay. I mean, literally, that's what number 14 of Self-Love December says. Don't compare. All right. Because again, you don't know what somebody else is going through. All right. There you go. Good morning, baby sibling. See, she puts it perfectly. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it really is. It is stealing all your good stuff because you're worrying more about what somebody else has as opposed to everything you have. See, Eileen says the comparison topic, that's a good one. It's hard. It's a hard one not to do. It is, but practice makes perfect, right? If you fall off the wagon, get back on the wagon, climb back on. And just know that over time, the more that you do practice it and the more that you do kind of embrace the idea of not comparing yourself to other people, you will get better at it. You will, you'll surpass what you once realized or once thought you couldn't do. So let's see. I have some mindful messages card. I haven't looked at them since yesterday. I forgot every single card I pulled. But at the time that I pulled them before I left home, they kind of reminded me of either steps that we can take or emotions that might be expressed in comparing with other people. So I shuffled them, so I have no idea what they said. But again, just try to also stick with not just comparison is the thief of joy, but also the only person you should be trying to beat is the person you were yesterday. And like I said, if you had a great day, build on it. Don't even try to beat that person. Just build on it. But don't try to be anyone other than yourself. If you believe in yourself and if you want what somebody else has, work for it. Okay? Gather your tools, do what you need to do, but work for it. Make it your own. Do your own thing. Don't worry about what 5 other people have as compared to you. Just people work hard for their things. Sometimes people are given things a lot easier than others, but you know what? Just have faith in yourself. Okay, that is key. Have faith in yourself. So, oh, that's so funny. Doing our best. Her little headband says, do your best. We are all doing our best with the understanding and awareness we have in this moment. Any decision I take is okay. Okay, so I hate the typos in these things. Any decision I make is okay, no matter the outcome. I make the best of any situation and learn as I go along. So there you go. We're doing the best we can with the understanding awareness we have in this moment. Any decision I make is okay, no matter the outcome. I make the best of any situation and learn as I go along. So I think that's perfect. Just learn your own thing, right? Just do your own thing. It's just like in school. I mean, you're given, and that, you have to write a term paper, right? Is everybody writing the same thing? No, everybody's not writing the same thing. And if 2 people are writing the same thing, they're definitely still going to be different because you're coming from 2 different perspectives. And that's what we need to keep, in mind when we start to compare to other people is keep your perspective. I know sometimes it's hard not to compare. I know sometimes that we are going to slip up and say, wow, but admiring what somebody has and comparing it to your life are two very, very different things. Two very different things. Admiring means you're thinking, well, maybe I could have that one day. Comparing means, well, why don't I have that? How come I can't have that? Well, because you're too busy asking how come instead of trying to make it happen. You're getting in your own way. You've got to get out of your own way. Okay, number 2, gratitude. Gratitude, that's my favorite. And see, they're holding their heart in their hands. It's like holding your world in your hands. I love acknowledging all the little things I am grateful for. No matter what I have going on, I always have things to be thankful for. Whenever I'm feeling upset, I can fill up a page with the things I appreciate. This begins to shift my mood and focus onto that which brings me joy. This gratitude is actually really good. If you feel like you need to compare your life to other people, start looking around at what you have. Okay? And if you want to take it a step further, although I kind of sit on the edge of this thought because I don't want you to I don't know. I don't want people to place themselves any higher than anybody else around them. But what I do want is for people to look around and be grateful for everything they have. And okay, maybe you don't have what the person next door has, but you might have something that the person on the other side of you doesn't have. All right? A lot of times we complain about all of the things in life. And when you complain, you're actually bringing in, more of this pain, more of this anxiety, more of these fears and doubts and resentment and anger. And when we have gratitude, we start reminding ourselves, of what we do have. And then you start feeling that with happiness, joy, understanding, compassion, empathy, self-love, self-care, and all the selves, right? Self-worth, self-respect, all that good stuff. You start finding that in you because you're raising your vibration, you're raising your energy and starting to take note and focus on what you do have versus what you don't have. If you keep thinking that, if you keep comparing in the don't have way, you are literally filling yourself up with lack mentality. And lack mentality is the one thing you do not want to have because you are going to consistently draw in nothing or something worse, as opposed to having a, positive or a gratitude mentality where you're going to bring in the equivalent or something better. We all have personal genies, whether you want to believe that or not. And a lot of times when people say, well, I don't understand how they can make that happen like that, and it doesn't happen for me. Well, it's because you're saying it doesn't happen for me. When you stop saying it doesn't happen for me, and you start saying, maybe I can make this happen, and you start raising your vibration, and you start believing that anything is possible, you will find something equivalent or better. Okay, now they say equivalent or better because it might be something like, say you wanted, I don't know, anything, just off the cuff, a pen, or, say you wanted a pen, like a really fancy, expensive pen, and you wanted a very specific kind, and you're putting it out there to the world, to God, the universe, your source, whoever your source is, right? This is kind of a very ridiculous and flat example, but I love pens. So say you're putting it out there and you're like, well, crap, the pen I wanted is now $100 more. So, okay, do you get it? I don't know, but who knows? You go to the next store and you're like, maybe you're walking down and your friend says, hey, you know what? There's something at this other mall I want to go, can we go there because I want to get it? When you're still debating on your pen, oh, we'll come back and get that later, but then you might go to this other mall and this place that they brought you to, and you might find the pen for even cheaper just because you're putting it out there like, well, maybe something better is out there for me if you don't want to spend that extra money. Or maybe it's because you don't have, your spidey instincts are saying, no, maybe this isn't the one I want right now. Maybe this isn't it, because there's this very specific one you might want, and you're just sitting there going, well, I'm not going to spend that much more money on this. I am going to get this one, which may not be the one you wanted. But then, like I said, you're putting it out there and saying, you know what, instead of thinking that, well, Why can't I have it now? This is the one I wanted. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, just say, you know what? Well, okay, powers that be, bring me this or something better. And then again, somebody comes over and says, hey, can we shift our gears and go to this place instead? And then you find it there. The world works in very mysterious ways. I have had a very recent example of this, a very recent example where I have pretty much lost a lot of my faith in everything. You hit rock bottom at times, and you keep it in because you feel like the people around you just have it so much worse than you do. And that's where comparison is bad. Instead of sharing my feelings and, saying how I was feeling, I just kept internalizing it. And I was doing exactly opposite of what I tell all of you guys to do, which is your feelings are valid. Your emotions are valid, right? We talk about this all the time, but I wasn't doing that. I was invalidating my feelings because I figured, well, other people are sadder than other people have more going on than I do, so my feelings don't matter. My feelings don't count, and I shouldn't feel this way. That's another version of don't compare yourself to other people, because when you start not sharing your feelings, or you start not even validating your feelings, even if you just share it with your journal or your notebook, when you start invalidating your feelings and thinking that, your emotions aren't worth as much as somebody else's who may be in a completely different situation, that's when you internalize, and that's when you start drawing bad things to you. And that's when nothing good is going to happen in your life, because everything is going to look gray or brown, like a gross brown, right? Like a dirty window brown. So that's another reason to not compare. All right. So, personal journey. Everybody is on their own personal journey, right? This, again, do not compare. I follow what feels right within me without needing validation from others. We are each on our own journey, and mine does not need to look like anyone else's. My enjoyment and satisfaction is validation enough. So again, personal journey. I follow what feels right within me without needing validation from others. We are each on our own journey, and mine does not need to look like anyone else's. My enjoyment and satisfaction is validation enough. That should have been the last card. Personally, I think that should have been the last card. That is one of the best reasons to not compare your life to somebody else's, or not compare what you have or what somebody else has, versus what you don't or do have. Because everybody's on their own personal journey. Everybody's on their own personal journey. And, on the flip side of that, don't compare either from a standpoint of having something versus someone who does not. Okay? Because you could have everything in the world and still be the loneliest person on the planet. That's kind of a given. Because you have everything, but what is stuff? Look at Ebenezer Scrooge, right? He thought he had everything in the world. He had money, a big house, blah, 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 but he didn't have family. He didn't have friends. Then he sees Bob Cratchit and his family, and the guy has pretty much nothing, but he's happy. He's celebrating. Life could be a little bit easier. But he realized that in trying to gain all this wealth and all of this mass material of stuff, that he was pushing people away. Because he wanted to have the most. He wanted to have everything. And on top of that, he got 3 ghosts. So, that's always a fun ride. Hi, I'm going to sleep hard tonight. No, you're not. You're going to be visited by 3 ghosts, including the first one, which actually makes 4 of them, because he got the warning ghost. He got Jacob Marley, who fired the warning shot, saying, okay, guess what? You're screwed. Scrooge. That was a good movie with Bill Murray. Anyways, if you don't want to be visited by 3 ghosts on Christmas Eve, don't be an asshole. So it's as simple as that. Don't compare yourself and what you have to other people. Don't look down your nose at other people. It's like one of my favorite people in the world has told me, you are no better than anybody else. Nobody is better than you. We're all here to serve a purpose and to do what it is that we're meant to do. That came straight out of older sibling's mom's mouth to me, directed right at me when I thought she was in trouble, and turns out I was. But For a moment where I thought I was in trouble, that was some of the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. And I think that really kind of hits home and should have actually been my quote for the day when we're talking about don't compare. You are no better than anybody else, and nobody is better than you. We're all just meant to do whatever it is that our life purpose is here on this planet. Okay? But it was a very, very healthy reminder for me, and it would really kind of boosted my confidence because I never thought I was good enough like everybody else. Everybody I met that had more always kind of intimidated me. And sometimes they still do. And this is why it's good for me to go through this with you guys, because I start to see the things that I need to fix, that I need to change, that I need to heal or grow or feel. And it also reminds me to believe in myself. I have people that say, I wish I could do what you do every morning. Well, you can. You can. Don't do it during my time. Just kidding. But you can. I mean, I said that to baby sibling once. I wish I could vlog like you do. I wish I had the courage to just sit in front of my camera and my phone and say, oh, hey, people, listen to me for X amount of minutes. And now look, we're almost a year and a half later. Well, we are a year and a half later. And no, we're almost a year and a half later. Sorry, I forgot I started in July. But, it's been almost a year and a half, and I do this every morning. I probably have missed less than 2 handfuls of shows in the course of, my math is off, 17 months. So, just, believe in yourself. Have confidence. Here we go. Releasing anger. Anger is a natural emotion, but I recognize that holding on to it can be toxic to me. I look at the person who has caused me pain and see them as the human being they are. I release the anger I feel and freeing myself and expanding to love. So again, anger is a natural emotion, but I recognize that holding on to it can be toxic for me. I look at the person who has caused me pain and see them as the human being they are. I release the anger I feel and freeing myself and expanding to love. The reason I picked that card is, how many times have we maybe not had a good parting of ways with, whether it's a family member, a friend, a coworker, a business partner, anything, any type of partnership, right? Siblings. And we see them and we look at them and we think, well, I'm a much better person than they are. How come their life is going so smoothly? Why is everything always so easy for them? Why does everything come so easy to them? Because a lot of times they're so focused on themselves, they're not focusing on everybody else and what everybody else is doing. And that's not always a good thing, because again, that's kind of where Scrooge fell, until the point where he was old and lonely. Fortunately, that worked out better for him than it does for a lot of people, because he had 3 ghosts to show him the way. And if you really stop and think about it, so are you. I could very well be your Jacob Marley and telling you, look into your past, look into your present, and maybe it will put together your future for you. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in the next minute. Okay, well, maybe the next hour, because I'm talking in the next minute. But we don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. All kinds of things can upend you. Yesterday, I was getting ready to leave for my dad's house. I forgot to upload all my videos until last night, which means my blog still hasn't gotten done. The quick thought of the day that I do hasn't gotten done. And these are all yesterday. But instead of freaking out and worrying about it, I thought, you know what? When I get home today, I'll just catch up. I'll put one out there, then I'll put the other one out there. And I'm not going to worry about it, because as long as the message gets out there, that's what's important. But when we hold on to that anger and we're constantly comparing ourselves to, somebody who we're mad at, their life working out so much better than ours, you're basically putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Okay? What is it that I always say? The quote that I pulled off the internet. What other people think of you is none of your business. Focus on you. Don't compare your life to somebody else's. Don't look down your nose at somebody else. Just do you. Do what is meant for you on your path. We always want to look at other people's lives and think they're so amazing and so much easier than all of ours. But sometimes when you open the door and you see inside, it's not always what it's cracked up to be. People will look at me and say, wow, you're always so positive, and, I think it's amazing, and, I'm not always positive. The struggle has been real this month. The holidays are not currently. They used to be. Christmas time used to be one of my favorite times a year, but I've struggled with it for the last few years. I've struggled hard with it. And this year I just decided, well, I shouldn't even say this year. This morning, I decided the only way I'm going to get my faith back in anything, and maybe even my Christmas spirit, is to stop worrying about what I don't have and start focusing on what I do. Stop thinking about, how everybody's having this, when you see on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, all these people who are having these wonderful Christmases, or the great spirit of the season, or just all the good news left and right. And you're sitting here going, wow, it must be nice. But instead, why don't you just say, wow, that must be nice? Believe it or not, you can take one phrase and make or break yourself. If you put out there, wow, that must be nice, you are literally putting out a very solemn, somber, sad energy. But when you sit there and say, whoo, that must be nice, you're thinking, how can I accumulate that? How can I make that happen in my life? And you're putting out this positive energy. And the more you do that, the more you continue to do that, and the less you compare yourself to other people's lives, you're going to find that your energy is going to pick up. You're going to find that your vibration is going to pick up. You're going to stop living in your pain and your sadness and your anger and your resentment, because they're not going to mean anything to you anymore. Sometimes we hold on to these things as anchors because we're afraid. We're afraid to move forward. And that's kind of been my case. I am a classic self-sabotager. Every time something starts to go right, I kind of throw that wrench right into the machine works. So I have to fix it, because that's what that's the person I have been for a long time, but that's the person I don't want to be anymore. You cannot fix people. And in a way, you can't fix yourself, but you can heal yourself. Okay? You can heal yourself. Even if you end up with a scar, like I said yesterday, whether it's a physical scar or an emotional scar, don't just slap a Band-Aid on it. Take care of it. Heal it. What is it we always say? You have to go through it to grow through it, or you have to feel it to heal it. Okay? And those are so important. Okay, sorry. Somebody's phone and iPad are going off right next to me. People, I swear. Yeah, that one over there. So anyways, just think about what I said. I promise I'm going to work on this too. I know how hard it can be. I may not be in your situation. I may not be wearing your shoes and walking your journey for you. But I do know that when we find the courage to stop complaining about our lives, and we find the courage to stop wishing our lives were something completely different instead of just accepting them for the way they are, things can change. Things can get better. The vibration can feel better. You're gonna up your game. You're gonna up your joy vibe. And I say that mostly from myself. For whatever situation anyone's going in, I have to let go of the anger and the resentment and the comparisons and the lack mentality and the just the sadness, of, just seeing other things and thinking, wow, must be nice. So I'm going to work on that too. Okay. And if you struggle, stop, take a deep breath, work through it. Don't push it down. Pushing it down is where a lot of the problems come from. When we internalize things, that makes it worse, because it will find a way up and it will find a way out. And what you want to do is nip that in the bud before it, just kind of let it come out as a fizzle as opposed to a big old volcano. Because when it comes out as a big old volcano, you're probably going to be sitting in the corner in the dark in tears. And I say that from experience. In the dark, in the corner, in tears. Just wondering what happened. What happened? So again, as number 14 of Self-Love December, think of me again as your Jacob Marley from the Christmas Carol, okay? Or A Christmas Carol. And be your own ghost of Christmas past. Be your own ghost of Christmas present. And, instead of the scary future ghost, that thing is a little terrifying, all right, if you watch the movies. But instead of being the ghost of Christmas future, think about what you want to plan for your future. It may not happen exactly as you want it to, but again, use the phrase, this or something better. So that way you get the equivalent or better, not something worse. Okay? Remember that. You can either say is this or something better, or the equivalent or something better. All right? That is your get out of jail free card. That is literally your get out of jail free phrase. This or something better. When you look into your past, you're able to do the shadow work. And you're able to find out, why is it that I'm so jealous of everything other people have? Or why is it I want something other people have? Why can't I focus on my own life? Why can't I focus on the things that I need to do for myself instead of comparing myself to everybody? That will help you move into the present, where I say, okay, what can I do now to take the steps towards the future I want, towards the things that I do want? And it's not always material, guys. It could be personal relationships. It could be a job. It could be, just a better work relationship with people that you work with, or a better family relationship. You don't have to allow people past your boundaries. Okay? But try not to hold on to the resentment and anger, because that's where you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, because you're adding unnecessary emotions to yourself. And you may already be carrying a heavy load. And if you're carrying a heavy load, you don't need to carry something that is not going to affect the other person right now. Okay, just focus on yourself, take your deep breaths, do what you need to do to get through today. If you can't take it one day at a time, take it one moment at a time. Okay, just move like a river from moment to moment. I like what some people say when they say, what is it? I saw the quote yesterday, but you never step into the same river twice. And it's true. You might step in the same land spot of the river, but it's not the same river, because that river is constantly flowing and it's constantly moving past you towards wherever its end goal is. Just as a quick thought, we always think that, but it's so small right now, how can it get bigger? I have actually seen where the Rio Grande begins. I got very lucky, and when they told me this is basically where the Rio Grande begins, I was like, you're joking, right? This is a stream. This is like a little tiny pond stream. It's not even a river. But as it flows down, it gets bigger, it gets wider. And think of that as like your manifestations or your prayers or whatever it is that you're putting out to the universe or your source. You're putting out something, you're planting that seed. Right, see? Pocahontas sings about that. Thank you, Eileen, just around the river bend. It may be a cartoon, but you can learn a lot from that movie. You can learn a lot from a lot of Disney movies. There are lessons everywhere. in those movies. But it is true. It's like I said, I've seen where the Rio Grande begins. And it was the least phenomenal looking place I've ever seen. I mean, my friends were like, yeah, let's go see. We're going to show you where the Rio Grande begins. It's so cool. It's so neat. And I'm just looking at like, where is it? And you're literally, I was on a bridge, like just a footbridge. And you're standing over it. I'm like, that's not the Rio Grande. There's no way that's the Rio Grande. I mean, what are you guys, lying to me? No, there's a sign nearby that says on the bridge, this is the beginning of the Rio Grande. So again, you're planting that seed so that it can grow. That river didn't say, I'm going to stop flowing because I'm tiny over here. No, it says, I'm going to keep flowing because guess what? I get greater as I go down. But when you think about it, the greatest part is that beginning. Because it doesn't see how small it is. It just says, hey, it all starts here with me. And it grows and it becomes expansive and it does a lot of good things down the way. It doesn't know it's small. It just says, hey, it's looking at me going, hey, stupid on the bridge. Don't put me down just because you can't get your shit together. No, it's saying, hi, why don't you look at me and take a lesson from me and see that when you start to put good things out there, when you don't let people stop your flow, you become bigger. Your life becomes more grand, right? I mean, it's right there in the name, which is why I thought it would be a lot bigger at the beginning. But now that I think about it, this was like 20 something years ago. I truly do have a new appreciation for that little tiny space of water that I saw. That, because it still flows every single day and doesn't stop, doesn't know that it's not big, it becomes amazing as it flows down. And that's all I want for everybody. We're almost halfway through or actually we may be halfway through our Self-Love December. But these are the tools that we're building. These are the tools that we're coming up with. Not comparing is such a good example of what not to do when you're trying to have more self-love. If you are comparing, you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough. What I have isn't good enough. You're killing your self-love without even realizing you're doing it. Because you're not appreciating what you have now. You're basically putting yourself down thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. Maybe your journey isn't the same as somebody else's, but as long as you are like that river and you keep flowing in the right direction with all your might and all your power, you are going to see how things will start to change, and you will start to see how you can make your life better. Okay, so as I always say to people every so often, I can get judgmental, older sibling can get judgmental, and we don't seem to do it at the same time. So we kind of remind each other, don't do that. But sometimes I will just tell her, keep your eyes on your own paper. Okay, keep your eyes on your own paper, because that's the only paper you should be focusing on. If you get caught cheating, it's not fun, right? Right? Like they take your test away, you get an F, or you go to detention, or both. And then they call your parents. That's a no-no. But don't do that. You don't want to cheat off of somebody else's paper. What works for somebody else may not work for you. And besides, how do you know they got the right answers? It might be the right answers for them, but it's not the right answers for you. Only you know the right answer for you. All right? So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow will be an interesting one. I'm going to give you a preview on that. Let go of what you can't control. That's going to be a lesson for Shelley that day. However, oh God, I'm such a fixer. I'm trying so hard not to try to fix people. I can't fix people. All I can do is be there for people. But sometimes we just don't want to see people hurting. But, there is a moment where you just have to step back and let life happen. You just have to let life happen. So we will talk about that more in depth tomorrow. It's also Aloha Oracle Friday tomorrow. Good morning, baby bear. And oh yeah, baby sibling, you do. You know what, guys? Without telling you why, I just need you all to send out a lot of good vibes to my nephew tomorrow, okay? Like a lot of super good, whatever's positive and bright and shiny. If you can send it to my baby sibling and to her son tomorrow, I know they could use it. Okay, so again, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is let go of what you can't control. In a way, it kind of goes with don't compare. So it may be very, very similar tomorrow. But have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow here, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Aloha Perspective Facebook Live under Shelley Marie Lucas. They are public. You do not have to be friends with me to watch it. I like to stress that out. Or I like to stress that because they are public. So you can just or you can just search my name on Facebook and poof, there I am. Or you can catch the replay on YouTube where you are welcome to click and subscribe. Even if you don't watch it there and you watch it here, if you have a YouTube account, go over there, click and subscribe. Okay, thank you. But yeah, just hang on to your hats, all right? Don't compare yourself to other people. And just go out there and enjoy your day, okay? Take it one day at a time. And like I said, if you struggle with one day at a time, take it one moment at a time. Allow your feelings to be validated. Validate your own feelings. Validate your own emotions. Heal it, and then let it go, okay? Because they are not serving you. They are serving as anchors, holding you back. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.